Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the belly our parent. It's time to rise, don't get wary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise, yeah.
Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Yes. Peace and greetings, people. This is Aura, the informationalist, owner and founder of the Network of Awareness. And we are here on this beautiful Tuesday morning doing a live broadcast, November 15th. It's approximately 10:17 a.m. here in the Tampa Bay area, Eastern Standard Time. Shout outs to all my people that are listening on the West Coast, in the Midwest. Those that are listening on Central Time, shout outs to all my people out in Illinois. Shout outs to all the people throughout the United Shenanigans of America and people in the down south area, up northeast. Shout outs to all my people in NYC and throughout New York State. And shout outs to all the brothers and sisters in Canada, India, UK, Mexico, Brazil, Europe, Africa, everywhere. All you know who you are. All those people that are going to be downloading my show from around the world. Shout outs to all my brothers and sisters that have been supporting me on TikTok, baby. I can't say enough how the platform is growing in support of the information from the informationalist, and it's a beautiful thing. Shout outs to all my people on Instagram. And remember, we're going to be changing our Instagram account. And I already did that, but we're going to make it official coming into the new year, as well as with Twitter and pretty much everywhere else I'm on. And we're going to keep it, structured. And today's show is all about a show that I did in the past when it comes to controlled opposition and propaganda here in the United Shenanigans of America. And it's called The Dog and Pony Show. This is part 2. And this is a bonus episode, brothers and sisters. This is not part of season 5 because season 5 is actually airing on November 28th. And it's going to be bananas, people. I'm super excited about it because we're going to have so many people on there, so many interviews from people from different walks of life. We're going to have the Spiritual Fire on Fellowship series interviews. We're going to have the Narcissism series interviews. We're going to have the Propaganda Pimping interviews and many other interviews from people from all different walks of life. So it's a beautiful thing. All right. And that beat that you heard, that's a beat that I got on this app that I have. It's called Cracked. That's not one of my beats or anybody that I'm affiliated with. These are beats that I can use, that I have rights to on my show. And I thought this beat was fire. All right. And I'm definitely going to write something to this because this beat goes in hard. But with all that being said, I'm going to play some of these beats in a little bit for the show. But in the meantime, I just want to say peace and blessings to everybody that's in this struggle around the world, to all my people that are awakening to the truth, those that are already living in the truth, and of course, all of those that give their praise to the Most High by living a life and taking this journey towards salvation with the Most High. So with that being said, I'm going to be doing shows here and there like this, bonus episodes before season 5 starts. But I chose to do the Dog and Pony Show because if y'all remember, I have mentioned that I have an app where I get a lot of updates when it comes to media, when it comes to certain events that are happening around the world. And of course, we have this situation with the whole entire people talking about that they Hebrews and these celebrities saying, you know, sharing, like Kyrie Irving that shared a documentary about Hebrews and all of that. And put it like this, when it comes to controlled opposition, you have to understand that these so-called celebrities, they're given full reign to do this because there is an agenda behind this. You really, put it like this, people, you really believe that the so-called Jewish people are just going to allow these people to get on these platforms and talk the way they're talking if it's not going to serve a purpose and an agenda that they want them to serve when they are the ones in control? You think that Mr. Kanye Sharpton is just saying this stuff because he's woke now and he's just breaking out and he's just telling it like it is? It's like, you got to wake up from all of this. But we're going to talk about some things in regards to Dave Chappelle. Now, let's just put it out here for people to know from my perspective that I think Dave Chappelle is a great comedian. I think he's one of the best. But let's also remember that the Dave Chappelle that we are seeing right now is not the same Dave Chappelle that we knew back in the days. All right? You can't tell me that that's not a clone. Now, I know some people don't believe in that. It is what it is. But that man is way too big than what he used to be. That's not his natural body structure. All right? But hey, some people would disagree. And some people say, oh, he just gained weight and this and that, and he started working out or whatever. Okay, if you say so. You know what I mean? I mean, I used to be real skinny too, but I still look the same. All right? My bone structure is still the same, even though I gained weight than when I used to be. Because when I was in my teens and early 20s, I was skinny. I'm talking about almost damn near anorexic skinny. Even though I wasn't anorexic, I was really slender and cut. But I gained muscle now and fat. And you could tell in my face, but I'm still that same person. Now, granted, if people don't want to believe that this is not the same Dave Chappelle, that's fine. But understand that Dave Chappelle, even though he walked away from $50 million and he decided to say no, he came back. And who did he sign with? He signed with Netflix and all these people. So he really never left Hollywood. He just took a break. And then, of course, when he came back, he started looking way different. And we're not going to even talk about what his family thinks about that because, you know, his family got some things to say in regards to who he truly is now. But if you don't know about cloning, do your research. I'm not going to do a show about that right now. What I am going to focus on when it comes to the Dog and Pony Show, because what the Dog and Pony Show is, it's exactly that. Back in the days, you used to go to these carnivals and they had what's called the Dog and Pony Show. And there was these different acts that they have for your entertainment. And a lot of them were fake. Like they would say, you know, the woman that can transfer electricity. Matter of fact, there's a movie, I forgot the name of it, that they show you all the stuff that they do behind the scenes to make you believe in, you know, the hypnotists and all these different types of people, that a lot of it was just smoke and mirrors. A lot of it was just for entertainment, but it was fake. But they're making you believe that they got these supernatural powers. And that's pretty much what the Dog and Pony Show was back in the days. You go and you pay literally like, you know, 3 cents, 5 cents back in the days, and you go to watch these shows. And it's no different today in modern day society with all the technology. We're still dealing with the Dog and Pony Show. So I want to talk about that in regards to Dave Chappelle because, you know, I was talking with a brother by the name of Aqua Rai, and we were talking about this whole Dog and Pony Show and how, you know, especially when it comes to celebrities and how a lot of them are just pawns in the game. They're not really the people that are sitting at the higher up tables that are really controlling everything. They're not the ones that are really dictating what actually happens, but they are participating in it, but they're being told what to do. They're not really the ones that are creating it. They're the ones that are going along with a plan that has already been created. And when it comes to Dave Chappelle, he's no different. Now, I'm going to read this article, okay? Because I want you to see where this is all going. Because this is not going to affect people like Dave. This is not going to affect people like Kanye. See, they're going to be living their life scot-free by next year or maybe after next year, whenever. Because this thing that Kanye doing is going to die out. Trust me when I tell you that. All right? And I won't be surprised if he gets back with Kim because he really never left her. They're together. Even though she's supposedly rocking with this dude, Pete Davidson from SNL. But speaking of SNL, let's talk about it. And the only reason I'm even bringing up celebrities right now is because I want you to understand what controlled opposition really is when it comes to the Dog and Pony Show that happens here in the United Shenanigans of America. So let's talk about this. It says Dave Chappelle's comments about the Jewish community during the Saturday Night Live monologue are being slammed as anti-Semitic. Well, first of all, brothers and sisters, how can we be anti-Semitic when we come from the tribe of Shem? We come from that bloodline, okay? All the tribes of Israel is coming from that bloodline of Shem. So we cannot be anti-Semitic because anti-Semitic doesn't even exist, okay? Now, if it was anti-Shemitic, it'd be a whole different story. But how can somebody like Dave Chappelle be anti-Shemitic when he's coming from that? Just like many of us come from that. So it's really Shemitic, not Semitic, okay? And you really have to understand this, what it was or what it is, because a lot of this shit is getting twisted. And if you're not studied, if you don't know your history, you can get caught up in this bullshit of controlled opposition. And let's just call it what it is. Because even a lot of these so-called brothers and sisters that claim to be Hebrew Israelites and all of that, a lot of them they're not really knowledgeable about where they come from. They're just listening to other men and women talk shit and build their own narratives, and then they go along with that. Just like a lot of people that say, you know, and a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I got to change that introduction song that I did with Take, because we're going to have to do that over, because that whole Yahweh ben Yahweh bullshit, that's not the Messiah's real name. All right. Now, if you want to call him Yahashua, that's more accurate. I call him the Messiah. Some people call him Christ. But if we're going to be accurate, it's definitely not Yahweh ben Yahweh. That's some dudes from a camp. That's a dude that wound up dying. That is not his fucking name. And there's not a damn thing in the history books. There's not a damn thing in the scriptures that says that his name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. Let's just put that out there. So for all you people saying his name is Yahweh ben Yahweh, stop it. Because that's really not his name at all. But that's another show for another day. And I was caught up in that too. So that's why I'm saying that. This is not coming from a place of hate. This is coming from a place of correctness. Because when you're in error, you got to humble yourself and realize that you're in error. And a lot of us have been in error for a very fucking long time because of certain people that are leading people astray. And they're going to continue to do that. And it's going to wind up whipping their ass, because the Most High don't like ugly. And the Most High definitely don't like it when his children are being led astray by people. that other people like to idolatrize or like to idolize and all that shit. Fuck these idolaters, because they come in many different forms, and a lot of them don't even have to be celebrities, but a lot of them think they're celebrities in their own fucking mind. But speaking of celebrities, it says the Anti-Defamation League Chief Executive Officer, Jonathan Greenblatt. Pay attention to all these last names I'm going to be reading in regards to Jewish. Okay, it says Jonathan Greenblatt took to Twitter on Sunday to criticize the comedian on the NBC late night show. It says, we wouldn't expect Dave Chappelle to serve as society's moral compass, but this, and let's just keep it real. I think what he said is true. We have to stop looking at celebrities as a moral compass, for real. Because back in the days, they demonized brothers like Malcolm that were really true leaders that came from real backgrounds of adversity, opposed to a lot of these celebrities that, not that they don't come from adversity, but they're in a group, they're in a brotherhood and sisterhood that they become a part of when it comes to Hollywood and entertainment and politics and all that. They're going to serve what that agenda wants to serve. They are just pawns in the game. And if they don't want to serve that, you know what's going to happen? They're either going to be dead or broke or both. Okay? And sometimes one comes before the other, believe it or not. And then what they wind up doing when you're dead, they wind up capitalizing off your broke ass and making way more money off of you when you're dead than when you was fucking alive. Let's just keep it real. And what's sad about this, especially when it comes to Kanye, is that most people that understand this truth and have studied it, if they study, but understand that this man done sold his soul, and he's confessed to that. Now he want to claim that Hollywood took his moms? People, let's just keep it real. Satan can't take shit from you unless you allow him to, unless you give him permission to. And I know this for a fact from being in DC. And when I was talking with a brother out there, and there's a lot of demons out in DC. A demon can't come into your house unless you welcome them in. They have to ask for permission. Just like they have to ask for permission to take anybody in your family out when you do that blood bond oath and that contract in blood. You cannot, it's like, listen, it's like any contract. I can't fulfill the contract with you until you sign on it. So don't think that Kanye, for some reason, said, oh, I'm not signing that contract, but and he's still going to take his mother. No, that's not how it works. So for you people that are co-signing this bullshit, wake the fuck up. Or don't. Or be delusional. Like most people in this country are. I choose not to be. I choose to stick to the truth. No matter how much it may hurt my fucking feelings sometimes. Because there's some things that I know to be true that I don't want it to be known within my mind, but I have to accept it for what it is. And that's just a fact. And the more you can do that, the better off you be, because this is not about our feelings. This is not about what we want to be right. It's about what the Most High has made right, and it's always been right. That's why it's so important to live our lives according to the covenant, opposed to what we think is right. Because the foundation has already been laid out in how we're supposed to live our life. And a lot of us know that because we know when we're doing wrong, it's fucking wrong. We can feel it. It's a spiritual thing. We know it, but we battle with that with the ego every single day. And some of us are successful in achieving and winning the battle between the flesh and the spirit, between the cardinal desire to what is spiritually right, and then some of us that are failed. And at least some of us that are failing are still repenting. And some of us that are not repenting at all. And that's when things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And then they just want to blame everybody else. And be like, why y'all want to be mad at me because I'm doing things differently? Why y'all want to be mad at me because I think differently? It's like, no, you don't think differently. You think like a fucking fool. You act like a fool, and it shows in your character. It shows in the spirit. It shows how you move. That's why. That's why nobody feels sorry for your ass, because you are cursing yourself through your actions and through the words that you speak. Plain and simple. So let's continue. It says that that to serve as society's moral compass, right? That he said we shouldn't expect Dave Chappelle to serve as society's moral compass. And we shouldn't. It says, but disturbing to see that at NBCS1 not just normalized but popularized anti-Semitism. Greenblatt tweeted, why are Jewish sensitivities denied or diminished at almost every turn? Why does our trauma trigger applause? People, let's not even go there because there's really no trauma, okay? You can't be traumatized when you're the ones that are conflicting and inflicting the trauma. So how can you be traumatized when you are the inflictors of trauma? Okay, that's number one. It also says the controversial comic hosted the show and addressed the firestorm around the Kanye West, who has legally changed his name to Ye following his remarks about Jewish people. Chappelle began the show by reading a statement which said, I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms, and I stand with my friends in the Jewish community. And he means that because most of his friends in Hollywood are Jewish, like anybody else that's in Hollywood. You're going to know way more Jewish people than you know anybody that's so-called black or brown or any other ethnicity for that matter. And why is it that when it comes to Jewish people, it's almost like we identify them as a race of people, right? Like they've kind of like solidified that as a foundation when Judaism is a religion, okay? But yet these people have like a whole nationality and race all by themselves. So it says, we went on to say that Ye had broken the show business rules, which are rules of perception. If they're black, then it's a gang. If they're Italian, it's a mob, Chappelle said. If they're Jewish, it's a coincidence and you should never speak about it. And it's true. It's like, you know, comedy is based on truth. And the more truer it is, the more the comedy is, the more funnier it is, right? So it says Chappelle went on to talk about the abundance of Jewish people in Hollywood. He said, but that doesn't mean anything. He said, there's a lot of black people in Ferguson, Missouri. That doesn't mean they run the place. Facts. Chappelle said that he could see if you had some kind of issue, you might go out to Hollywood and start connecting some kind of lines and could maybe adopt the illusion that Jews run the show business. He did that very crafty. It's not a crazy thing to think, he said, but it is a crazy thing to say out loud. It says writer Adam Feldman tweeted that Dave Chappelle SNL monologue probably did more to normalize anti-Semitism than anything Kanye said. Okay. Everyone knows Kanye's is nuts. Yeah, we all know that. Because he sold his soul to the master, Satan. It says Feldman wrote, Chappelle posts himself as a teller of difficult truths is worse. CNN has reached out to reps for Chappelle and NBC for comment. It says the CNN Wire, right? Now, I'm going to read something else to you, just so you understand where I'm coming from. Because we need to talk about this and we need to present this as it should be presented when it comes to the truth. Now, I am going to read to you the biography or Wikipedia on a particular individual by the name of Lorne Michaels. Who is Lorne Michaels? Well, Lorne Michaels is the owner and founder of SNL, which stands for Saturday Night Live. So let's learn a little bit about Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels, born Lorne David Lipowitz. I'm going to repeat that again. Lorne Michaels, his birth name. Okay? And I want you to see how Hollywood works, because a lot of these people in Hollywood, they change their names for multiple reasons. And it's not like some of us who adopt our Hebrew names, but in some regards, it's just like that, right? We take on a Hebrew name from our actual birth name. See, my name Aura is my spiritual pen name that I write with, that I performed with, but I feel like it's the name that the Most High gave me at 15 years old, opposed to other brothers who may have gotten their name from other brothers and sisters when it comes to their Hebrew name. Some of them have gotten it in different ways. It's no different in Hollywood. So his real name is Lorne David Lipowitz. November 17th, 1944 is when he was born. He's a Canadian-American producer, screenwriter, and comedian. He's best known for creating and producing Saturday Night Live, 1975 to 1980, 1985 to present, and producing late-night series since 1993, The Kids in the Hall, The Tonight Show. He has received 21 Primetime Emmy Awards from 98 nominations, holding the record for being the most nominated individual in the award show's history. Now, just some early career stats. It says Lorne Michaels was born November 17th to Florence Becker and Henry Abraham Lipowitz. His place of birth is disputed. Multiple sources have said he was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Shout out to all my Canadians. While others state he was born in Kibbutz, in then the British Mandate of Palestine. And that his Jewish family immigrated to Toronto when he was an infant. Bang, 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 bing, 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 bing. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. A brand new Jew. So his Jewish family migrated or immigrated to Toronto. Okay? So he's an immigrant. Even though he's born, whatever, in Canada or whatever. Supposedly. What the key word here, Jewish family. Okay? Let's see what it says here. Jews or Jewish people are the ethno-religious group and nation originating from Israelites and Hebrews of historical Israel and Judah. Jewish ethnicity, nationhood, and religion are strongly interested or interrelated as Judaism in the ethnic religion of Jewish people, although I don't even want to read the rest of that nonsense. Listen, people, men like this are frauds. Just like many of the so-called Jewish people, they are not the true Hebrew Israelites, and there's been tons and tons and tons and tons of information to validate and prove that. And that information has even come from some of the people from Israel that are part of these synagogues that are like, hey, we are not the true Jews. Plain and simple. Okay? But because Hollywood and this government has to lead us astray from the Most High, they have to keep this perception alive, because the people that are the perpetrators and the people that are putting the veil over our eyes come from these sects, come from this long legacy of lies. And this man, Lorne Michaels, is no different. Now, why do I bring this up, people? Because use your fucking common sense for a second, if you have any left. Why in the fuck is Dave Chappelle going to be allowed to go on another Jewish man's network that he owns and has the final say of? Okay, he knows everything that's going on when it comes to his show. And everything is discussed in advance. Any monologue that's done is rehearsed. It's written, and it has to be run by those that own the network, which is Lorne Michaels and his staff. So you mean to tell me that the same Jewish owner of SNL that knows what Dave is going to talk about is just going to allow him to talk about it like that? If there's not a bigger agenda behind it, and all of these people that are either owned by Jewish people or are Jewish people by themselves are just going to be bringing Kanye onto their shows as well to talk about these things, not knowing that this is what he represents, but they're allowing him to do that. There's a reason for it, and it's called controlled opposition. These celebrities, just like Dave Chappelle, are allowed to do this, people, because you have to think about it. How in the holy hell, and we all know that hell's not that holy, but how in the hell that we are going to allow this bullshit to ride? And I'm going to tell you why, because you're getting caught up in that complexion, that corruption of complexion, the corruption of social constructs, the corruptions of racism, you truly believe that race does exist. You know, there's people that still believe that race does exist when there's everything that is factually true to prove that that is a social construct, that race doesn't exist, that race comes from a demonic force called Satan to create division, because there is only humans. There are different nations of people, but we all come from the same source, okay? And our complexions of skin are different, but we all got melanin, because without melanin, we can't live. We can't actually live as a functioning human being, plain and simple. Now, if you don't do your research, how would you know that anyway? See, just because I'm bringing awareness to this topic doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and find it out for yourself, okay? Instead of just following what other people say. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of our brothers and sisters, especially our brothers and sisters in Israel. A lot of our brothers and sisters that know where they truly come from, but they still lost. They have some idea, but they really don't know. They just go along with things because it sounds cool. You know, that's what it is. And at a time when it was cool, when I was growing up in New York City, I didn't gravitate to it for that, because I was being led by the Most High to find out the truth, to be a messenger the right way. And I had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and I had to go through a lot of different things that I had to understand for myself, and I'm still going through that. That doesn't ever stop. Even though I'm in my 40s, I still got so much more to learn. I'm very stupid when it comes to the reality of things here. There's so much I still don't know, that I'm very ignorant of, or should I say I'm very unaware of, because I haven't discovered it yet. But that's the beauty of understanding who you truly are and where you come from, which is the Most High, and to start pursuing the Most High through the word of the Most High, and to really understand these things. But of course, everybody's going to have their different interpretation, and that's just perfectly fine with me. I don't care. I know what's true to me. And I'm not going to have anybody, nor man nor woman, dictate that to me. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. It's just a plain old fact. I think we all should be like that. I think we all should be free thinkers and critical thinkers and think for ourselves instead of being in this group thought mentality, because that's where you truly start to lose yourself, no matter how much you think you are found. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't congregate, but I think we should be very careful on how we congregate and what we are congregating for, and who with, and for what purpose. Because a lot of us are being led astray. And that's why a lot of people are gravitating to people like Dave Chappelle and all this, and feeling like, oh, this is all good, and, you know, we need this. And no, we don't. Because all this is going to do, and you're going to see how it plays out, this is all controlled opposition to lead you astray. And this is preparing for the attack against the truth. And the truth is that the Hebrew Israelite bloodline is scattered throughout the nations. And those that are discovering that truth for themselves, those are the ones that are going to eventually be demonized. Because when we start speaking this truth as we have, they are creating this anti-Semitic forum to where a lot of people are going to start being canceled in the cancel culture era and zeitgeist that we are in. And because we're in that zeitgeist, they are building a foundation for it now based on this bullshit anti-Semitism, where all the true all the true Shemitic people, all the true Hebrews are going to start being demonized, and they're going to start having their channels canceled and all of that. Be aware, because there's a lot more to this. And I was talking with I had a very extensive conversation with Brother Aqua Arai about this. And he set some light on this that actually woke me up, because I knew that there was an agenda, but I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that it can go in that direction, but it really easily can. And it can even be far worse than that. It's so much more to this than what I'm actually presenting to you, because I don't even know yet. I just know it's not good. And I know that I don't know exactly when, I can't give you a specific date, but I do know that sometime next year in 2023, a lot of this shit that's being peddled right now, with Kanye especially, we're going to see what this shit is really about when it comes to propaganda pimping. Believe me. And then we're going to see Kanye Sharpton's true colors. Because right now, people are wanting this motherfucker to run for president. This is how bad it is. This is how stupid people are out here in the United States. I think that in the United States has some of the dumbest people in the globe, in the world. The dumbest, the most stupid, ignorant people you could possibly imagine. All this thing about this country is great. yes, the people from this country are great. And a lot of that greatness was already here before this country was founded as a country. This land was already great with tons of Hebrews from North America to South America, throughout the Caribbean islands. Okay? Because if you go to Puerto Rico has Hebrew tablets and pyramids and all types of stuff for millennium. So how the fuck you gonna tell me that people from Puerto Rico are not Hebrew? You gotta be out your fucking mind to believe that shit. But people believe it. Same thing with Dominican Republic. Dominicans are coming from Hebrew bloodlines. Same thing with Jamaicans. Same thing with the Haitians. Same thing with the Cubans. All across the coast. Same thing in the Bahamas. But when you start gravitating to these bullshit narratives that come from man's perspectives based on their egotistical, narrow-minded views, you get caught up in that. And that's the same thing. They're no different than the media. The media does that. The media makes you think that these people that are practicing Judaism are the true Hebrew Israelites. And it's not fucking true. It's just not. There's too much circumstantial, refutable evidence that you can't refute. It's just there. History is history. But it's who's telling the story, right? It's who's telling the story that we're going to gain that perspective on. Just like I was talking to a sister earlier today about my particular perceptions of California. I've never been to California, so I only go by what I hear and what I see on television. And that leaves me ignorant to what really goes on over there because I never stepped foot in California. I know that. And hopefully one day I will soon. Matter of fact, next year is a goal for me to go to Cali and to hang out there and build with some of the brothers and sisters out there and do some of my shows out there so I could be in the mix. Now, I'm not trying to go to the hood so I could get shot, some random drive-by, but I am going to Cali because it's just good to travel, I think. From my perspective, I think it's just good to travel, no matter where you travel to. But of course, you always got to be very aware and prepared and do your research before you go anywhere, right? And it's always good that if you go someplace, especially a place that's known to be dangerous, you want to know some people over there before you go over there. But with that being said, I want to make it very clear that how in the hell is somebody like this man, okay, Lauren Lipowitz, is going to allow somebody like Dave Chappelle come on to the show unless there's some form of agenda. These people won't allow shit to happen without their permission. Facts. And those in the truth know what I'm talking about. Many of you that listen to this show know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, do your research because these so-called Jewish people, they run the whole entire institutions of media. They run it all. They run the whole entire institution known as Hollywood, or some would call it Hollyweird. These some of the weirdest motherfuckers you'll ever come across in your life. They are into some of the most diabolical, dirty, demonizing shit possible. Okay? They just are, especially when it comes to the children, especially when it comes to trafficking, pedophilia, weird type of fetishes and parties and just some off-the-wall shit. And a lot of the shit they show you in the films. So I ask you again, how is it that Lauren David Lipowitz, the owner of SNL, is going to allow a so-called black man like Dave Chappelle speak in the manner in which he did unless there is an agenda for it? Why was Revolt allowing Kanye to go on Drink Champs? They could have stopped that a long time ago, but they allowed him to because they have to show that opposition. And what they do, they said, oh, they took it off of air and they canceled it. Of course, because this is all part of the agenda. This is all part of the manipulation. Right now, this is no different than when the narc is grooming. This is no different than when the pedophile is grooming you for that okie doke, for that knockout, for that fucking turning your world upside down. Right now, things are looking promising for a lot of so-called black and brown people that claim to be Hebrew Israelite, or just black people in general, right? That are loving this right now. They're like, oh, the truth is coming out, and Kanye and all these people and Dave, you see how Dave tell it how it is. They're allowed to. Plain and simple. Oh, or are you giving these people too much power? No, I'm not. I'm just telling the truth. That's just like me. If I'm letting you come on my show, and you're going to come on my show and talk about the Alphabet Gang and talk about how the Alphabet Gang is the best gang in the world and they're the truth, you know, and that the rainbow is really what it's about and it's not coming from the Most High. I'm not going to let that come onto my show because I'm in control of this motherfucker. I'm in control of everything that happens on this show because I own this bitch. So why in the hell are they going to allow people to come on this show if there's not something that they're leading to for destruction, for defamation that they're going to start? That whole cancel culture is huge right now. And this is all leading up to that. And that's why you got to be very aware and stop looking and stop idolizing these damn celebrities because these celebrities are no fucking good. They're bought and paid for. Always have been and always will be. Ain't no difference. It just is what it is. And there ain't shit that's going to change that. The only thing you got to do is pursue the Most High. Because the Most High is all about righteousness with all that choose to walk that righteous tightrope, those that choose to be on that path to salvation. The Most High don't talk about skin complexion in the scriptures at all. But does it matter to the Most High? Absolutely not. Because what matters to the Most High is the truth, is righteousness, is following these laws and principles and following it the right way. And it's the simplicity of all. The Messiah showed us the simplicity of all this. But no, we complicate it. And that's what these celebrities are doing. They're complicating the truth for you. And you're taking that and running with it like fucking idiots. Many of you, not all. I know a lot of people that listen to my show don't rock with this shit. I don't subscribe to social constructs. I don't give a fuck if you're white, black, or purple because those are all social constructs. I don't care. I am basing my experiences with men and women based on their spirit, based on the spiritual being having the physical experience that I am physically experiencing at that moment, physically and spiritually. And I can tell you that from my own personal experiences, people that are claimed to be so-called white, people that so-called claim to be black or Hispanic, you know, there's some that are spiritually beautiful people because they have that light of righteousness in them. And some of them don't even follow scriptures and they're operating more in the spirit of what the scriptures is teaching us than the people who are actually reading the scriptures. And then you have some people that doesn't matter if they're black, brown, yellow, or whatever, Asian, Haitian, Jamaican, white, Italian, Irish. Some of them are the biggest pieces of shit in the world. They're just wicked people. And it doesn't matter based on your skin complexion because it's all based on the experience of the spiritual being. Because the spirit is the character of the person. And you've heard me say this before. When you look into the mirror, when I look into the mirror, I see a miracle that comes from the Most High. I see myself as that expression of the Most High. I see myself as the light that was created in the image of what the Most High intended us to be. And every single day, I have to walk in that light and pursue that righteousness through understanding the word, because it becomes more easier when you start to understand the principles that you can follow. But then living it is a whole nother story, because you got to live it day in and day out. There's a lot of people that are not. There's a lot of people that don't even care to. And then there's many of us like you and I that we care to and we want to and we're doing it, but we make mistakes. And that's why we have to repent. It's really that simple. This shit ain't rocket science. And like I wrote in one of my, and I'm going to do a show about this in one of these bonus episodes that I'm going to put out within these next 14 days, is all about how the basic instructions before leaving Earth is the true way of life, not a religion. I'll repeat that. The basic instructions before leaving Earth is the true way of life, not a religion. So what am I talking about? The Bible and all the other scriptures that are not in the Bible, that the Most High had written through people. Study and be approved and go on and get your charity on, baby. Because there's a lot of people that got this knowledge and they got no charity. Charity is like the last thing on their fucking mind because they're too busy wanting to get something for themselves. They're too fucking selfish. So they have all this knowledge and they think they're the best thing since sliced fucking bread. You got a lot of so-called Hebrew brothers and sisters that claim to be Hebrew, walking around, puffing out their Old Testament. Some of them are puffing out their old New Testament. Some of them are not, doing any of that. They just think they're fucking special because of the color of their skin. And it's so far from the truth. They're leading themselves astray or are being led astray from the Most High. Because the Most High is just about the truth and the only way that you can be. It doesn't matter what the fucking complexion of your skin is. It doesn't matter which tribe you come from. What matters is if you really following that covenant, are you really on that path to salvation? Because that's really what matters. And are you sharing that through charity? Are you sharing the knowledge that you have? Or are you just keeping to yourself? Are you being selective with those? Or are you just being charitable? Or are you not being anything? Because a lot of people choose to not be anything. And the people I have a lot of respect for? The people who choose to be wicked and own that shit. I got a lot of respect for those people. I can't stand the motherfuckers that are wicked and claim that they're righteous when everything in their character shows that they're wicked. And you know who a lot of people are like that? A lot of these fucking celebrities. Just even calling them a celebrity, like what the fuck is it about them that we need to celebrate? Can somebody explain that to me? Why? Because you do a movie? Because you know how to fucking pretend to be something you're not? I gotta celebrate you now? And if there was anybody to celebrate, I want to celebrate the fucking firefighters that go out there and bust their ass to risk their lives to save us brothers and sisters from fucking burning to a crisp. Let's celebrate those people. They should be the fucking celebrities. Let's celebrate the officers that really risk their lives to save the kids from being fucking kidnapped and stuff. Or raped. People that save women from being domestically abused. Let's celebrate those fucking people. But we over here celebrating people because they go behind a fucking camera, they put on a costume, okay? Or they go on stage and they tell a bunch of jokes and we got to celebrate you for that shit? Get the fuck out of here, man. That shit is ridiculous. Makes no sense. None whatsoever. And yes, I do have the explicit button on today. And so what? If I'm cursing, I'm cursing. Sometimes the only way you people listen is if you talk like that. So maybe it'll come through. Maybe the message will come through today. It's not something that I like to engage in all the time where I have to talk like this. But I have to tell it how it is today because this is buffoonery. This is fuckery 101. And a lot of you dummies that want to be like Kanye for president, it's like, stop it. What are you talking about? And a lot of you know what I'm talking about because some of you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and it's like, come on, please. It's the same thing with this Trump, these people that idolize Trump. Like he's the second coming. Like, come on, man, stop it. He's just a man who's dicked over a lot of fucking people to get to where he's at. And he got to where he's at because of his father. And if you really knew how he's lived his life behind the scenes, I guarantee that many of you that idolize him would not. Because a lot of people be like, oh, Biden this. Yeah, listen, if there's anybody that's a piece of shit, we already know. If there's anybody that loves to touch kids that can't even help himself in front of the camera, we know who he is. But hey, that other man ain't no different. He's just good at hiding. And it's two sides of the same coin. So when you see in somebody like a Dave Chappelle going on SNL, people, understand that this is allowed. Understand that these people are all over this place when it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to politics and all these other institutions. They're all over the place. And brothers and sisters, give me 1 second. No, matter of fact, I'm not going to take a break because I'm going to kind of wrap things up here. This is just a bonus episode. Was going to play some music in a minute. I want to just play some beats, but this is not going to be a long episode. This is just a bonus episode. I just want to say this before I end this, and we'll start playing some beats here. Just understand, people, that when it comes to the people that are in control of everything that socially conditions us, there is always a strategy, there is always a plan and a method in which to execute that plan and strategy to fulfill a certain agenda. And the agenda is always to keep you down. The agenda is always to keep you confused. Because if they really wanted you to know who you are, everything would change. And the power structures that be would no longer exist. It's the truth, and it always will be that. And that's why you have to start getting to understand who you truly are as a spiritual being, having the physical experience. And until you start to embrace that every single day, you're really not going to understand the world that you live in, because everything that we've been told is a lie. And pretty much most of the things that we experience, especially in the material world, is a lie. It is fake. We are not having a true, authentic experience unless we are truly operating in that spirit and walking in the light of the Messiah, in the light of the Most High, in the light in which we were always intended to walk in, period. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, like I put in the description box, season 5, dropping November 28th. This is the perfect time to start listening to older shows. I have 400 shows you can listen to. So if you haven't heard any of those 400 shows, only several, go to season 2. Got some great shows there. Go to season 1. Matter of fact, if you go to season 1, you can actually see my come up, and you can see how I grew to where I'm at now, especially with my engineering skills and the way my shit sounded back in the days when I was using the Spreaker app on my damn iPad and stuff. But the content's still there. But, you can actually say, Aura's audio kind of sucked. And it's getting better now. It's gotten better from where he first started. And my first episode was June 9th, 2020. And all praises to the Most High that I still have this platform 2 years, just over a little 2 years later. So grateful for that. So grateful. Truly am. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to say this. Don't fall for the dog and pony show. All right? And listen to some of those old shows from the past 4 seasons. And if you haven't already, subscribe. It's a free subscription. Doesn't cost you anything at networkofawareness.com. Obviously, the Roku channel is going to be pennies on the dollar as well. That's only going to be just under $7 a month to have access to all of the content that will be exclusive on the Roku channel. Okay? So, with that being said, this is the Informationalist. I want to say peace, love, and light. And when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning, brothers and sisters. And like I always say, don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up that tunnel and find your way through the darkness and walk that righteous tightrope and maintain balance. It's tough, but it's worth it. And listen, righteousness is simple. We make it complicated, not the Most High. We do. So get out your own way and allow the Most High's way. I guarantee you that the Most High Yah is that wonderful, everlasting truth that will bring you all the peace of mind that you've ever desired in your life. So we're going to play some beats, baby, and then we're going to be signing off. So peace, love, and light, brothers and sisters, and all praises to the Most High, always and forever. Shalom.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness. awareness. To the network of awareness. To the network of awareness.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. How you doing? How you doing?
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness. To the network of awareness. To the network of awareness. are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
This concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at aura@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Peace and blessings.